Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Fame with Tiffany Renee. I am she, Tiffany Renee, and I'm so glad that you came to stop by. If this is your first time coming to my channel, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. So glad to see you. On this channel, we talk about quantum physics, metaphysics, spirituality, all types of inner growth, expansion, and vibration, law of attraction, all the other universal laws, everything to help us grow and live our best lives. This is a safe community, a safe space, a loving community. So, no negativity here. Opinions are respected and welcome as long as they are respectful and in a loving manner, because we always want to be attuned to the frequency of love, right? So today, please feel free to like, share, subscribe to help out the channel. And all the new subscribers, I have a couple of new ones. Thank you so much. I think as of right now, I have like a whopping 40 subscribers, which I know doesn't sound like a lot, but I am very grateful for my 40 subscribers. Thank you so much. We all have to start somewhere. And I am really, really grateful. And I am really, my goal is to start creating more content every month, even if it's just a couple of videos a month, to try to gain more momentum. I was sick in January. I had a really bad sore throat and everything, but I did post one video in January. And so I have, these videos uploaded for February. It'll be about 3 or 4 videos for February. And my goal is to have at least maybe 2 a month, to just try to keep the momentum going for 2022. Thank you for all the comments. I love reading your comments, and it just makes me feel so warm and fuzzy that you even care enough to leave a comment or to watch a video, or that you even care to have my advice, or the people who've asked me questions and things like that. You know, I love that. You know what I'm saying? Thank you so much for even, entrusting me to ask, certain questions about your situation and wanting my input. And if you want me to do a video about something or about a particular topic, or if you have any questions, and you might want me to answer and do like a Q&A or something, please drop them in the comments. Let me know, and maybe I'll do like a Q&A video. And if you have any manifestation success stories and you don't mind me sharing them, leave them in the comments and I will read them, and I'll share them on here during like another story time. So thank you. Thank you to all of you. So let's get to this video. This video is going to be a video I've been wanting to do based off of observation. And then recently, just my own personal life. I did one, is about entitlement. And I did one called Relationships and Entitlement. And it was more about romantic relationships. And it was based off of a conversation I had with a friend of mine who was in a brand new relationship. And she had said something to me during our conversation about her and her new beau. And she used the word entitlement. And I thought that was so profound, because I never heard anyone use the word, how she felt like she wasn't entitled to his time or his body, like his presence, just because she was his girlfriend. And I thought that was so profound, because, she said he felt the same way. He didn't feel entitled to her and her time just because she was his girlfriend. And I've never heard anybody say that when they were in a relationship dynamic ever before. And I did a video about it, you know what I mean? And, I used that as an example, as a kind of a catalyst. And then I had started thinking, I think this also applies to friendships as well. Really, all relationships, whether it's family, friends, co-workers, all of that. But I think I really wanted to do one about friendships. So this one is going to be called Friendships and Entitlement. And some things have come up in my own personal life as well that I feel like this really is timely for me because it had me reflecting on some things just within my own dynamic of friendships and stuff like that. Nothing bad. It's just reflection is not bad. Okay, I know that sometimes that word, when people say, I've been reflecting on some things, and it's for some strange reason, it's like a really weird, like slightly negative connotation under the word reflection. When you say I've been reflecting on things, I've been reflecting on us, it's like panic. Have you noticed that, or is that just me? Like people start to panic when you say that as if they're anticipating you to say something bad. And it's like, it's not bad. Like, reflection is good. You should be reflecting on things, I think that's growth, in my opinion. If you're not reflecting on yourself, you're not expanding, you're not growing, you're not learning about yourself. I think reflection is paramount in your own expansion, especially if you're on this like a spiritual ascension, your own growth, your own journey. You have to be reflecting on yourself regularly, because you're always changing. We're always changing. We never stay the same. So reflection, I think, is very necessary. I digress. But I was reflecting on just, my own dynamic, my own relationships and stuff like that. And I remember becoming, after I started working on myself and doing therapy and stuff like that, like a couple years ago, I really became an observer of behavior and patterns. When you start to work on yourself, I found, at least with me, I can't really speak to anybody else, but when I started to work on myself and started trying to catch my own behaviors and patterns, especially ones that did not serve me, of course, I had to be mindful of my own behaviors and patterns and be mindful and aware of the ones that served me and the ones that didn't. And so, because of that, I am very aware of patterns and behaviors of people in general. Like, I just notice patterns and behaviors of the collective. And I started noticing patterns and behaviors when it came to the dynamic of friendships. And they were probably always there, really. And I just never noticed them because there was no need for me to notice them. You know what I mean? Nothing, they were never on my radar. But when you start doing your energetic work and you start doing your emotional work and your mental work, and you start growing and expanding, you start reflecting, you start noticing things that were always there that you just never noticed. And then you start noticing them, basically. So I started noticing these different patterns and behaviors. And one of them was entitlement. And I thought, this is the same thing that applied to romantic relationships. It can apply to friendships. So, question, YouTube family, do you feel entitled to your friends? Do you have a sense of entitlement to your friendships? Do you feel entitled to their time, to their presence, to their support, to their kindness, to their help? Anything, right? I'm going to tell you why this kind of came up for me. Sometimes I get in modes, like many people, when maybe I feel like I need some extra support, right? I really try to just handle it on my own. I've pulled back a lot on trying to reach out to other people for support because a lot of the times it's internal work. It's the inner child. It's stuff that I need to address internally. And it's just the inner child looking for somebody else, you know what I mean, to grab on, to help, which usually it's me that needs to do the helping. And then sometimes people just aren't available, right? Like it's nobody's fault. It's nothing bad. It's just sometimes if you're having an emotional day and you need some support and you reach out to people, sometimes they are not available at the time that you need them. They're just not, right? Let's say if you're having just a complete total meltdown and you reach out to like your core group of like, 4 or 5 friends who you can lean on when you have these meltdowns, and none of them are available. They're at work, they're with the kids, or they're, whatever, what I mean? They have other plans, they're out of town, they're just, or they're not even in the mental space to handle your emotions because they're going through stuff themselves and they're just not available. And they're like, I'll get back with you another, like, give me an hour, I'll talk to you tomorrow or whatever. And then you don't hear from them because they're not available then either, like, or they forget, or they have other stuff going on because they have life and they have kids, or they have, husbands and wives and grandkids and jobs. They've got to finish the project, and they've got to do this, they're starting a new job, but they're leading up, they got to make sure the talk is ready because they got a board meeting, or they have to do this, they have to do that, like, or they work from home, so they have to, like, they have lives too, right? So I'm not saying that it's not on purpose, you know. Hopefully it's not on purpose. So it's probably not on purpose at all. However, that doesn't help you because you're still having the emotional meltdown, right? And let's say there's really no one else you can talk to or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You do what you can, you try to self-soothe, you do whatever. And then okay, the time has passed, and then okay, you've settled, and then you're fine. So, do you get upset at that? Do you feel disappointed? Do you feel let down? Do you feel like, man, somebody should have been there for me? And I had a similar situation, uh, you know what I mean, where I felt like, man, this kind of sucks that none of these people were available to me for days, you know what I mean? And I kind of needed somebody and nobody was available. Okay, bless. Do I feel mad about it? I had to ask myself, am I mad about it? Like, okay, I might be a little bit upset about it. Okay, well, why do you feel upset about it? Okay, well, I think I feel upset about it because I wouldn't have done that to them. Like, I felt like I was left hanging. Okay. And I'm like, okay, well, I wouldn't have done that to them. I wouldn't have let it go this long and not have reached out to make sure they were good. Right. And I was like, okay, well, why do you feel that way though? Okay, well, I feel this way because of blah blah blah. Like I kept digging and I kept digging and I kept digging. And then the final question came up to, okay, your feelings are valid. Your feelings are 100% valid, Tiffany. We're validating your feelings. We're validating that inner child. We're validating those wounds. We're validating those feelings of feeling, abandoned or dismissed or unseen or whatever you feel. 100% valid. Now, we're going to ask you this question. Do you feel like you are entitled to their support? I had to ask myself that question. And I never really thought of that. I was like, am I actually entitled? Like, am I entitled to that? And I was like, I think I have been feeling that a little bit. Maybe part of me that I wasn't maybe aware of felt that I felt like I was entitled to their support, entitled to their time when I felt like I needed it for no other reason than just because I placed the label of friend on them. And by my definition of friend, these are the parameters in how friends operate. Okay, well, that's my fault, right? I mean, we all do that. We all place our friends in categories. We all place parameters on what we define as friendships because, and I've said this so many times, there is no one size fit all for friendships. Like, you don't treat your friends the same because your friends are not the same, right? You categorize your friends because all of your friends are different, right? Your friends do not operate the same. You don't go to your same friends for the same things. I mean, you know what friends you can go to if you need to borrow some money. You know what friends you can't ask for money. You know what friends you can go to if there's an emergency and you need stuff done immediately. You know what friends you can't go to. You know what friends are the organized friends who you can go to. You know what friends you can't. You know what friends who you can go to if you need emotional support and you need to keep secrets or whatever. You know what friends you can't. Like, we compartmentalize our friends based on the role that they play in our lives, right? Based on what they or what we've decided they can do for us. You know what I'm saying? And they've done the same for us, for their group of friends. If we're part of their group of friends, they've compartmentalized their group of friends, and we are placed in a category in their life. They know that if they need such and such, then they can call you. But if they need such and such, they can't call you because you know what I mean? Our friends require different things. Each friend requires something different from you, and you require something different from your friends. And you categorize your friends based on the requirements that you need from each one of them, right? So I really had to just stop and ask myself, like, okay, am I feeling this way because I feel like there was a violation of this sense of entitlement that I've placed upon them, that I've placed upon them. And I figured that that's what it was. Because at the end of the day, just like in relationships, my friends, no one's friends, really, in my opinion. Friends are only entitled, like, you're only entitled to receive two things from your friends: respect, like total respect in every sense of the word, respect, and the honoring of your boundaries. I mean, other than that, like, those are the two things that you are 100% entitled to from your friends: total respect and the honoring of your boundaries. Those are the two things that you are 100% entitled to. Everything else, I think, is a negotiation. That's what the conclusion I've come to, is that everything else in your friendship is a negotiation. And I say that because no friendship is a one size fit all. You negotiate what you require from each other in order to be friends. And I think sometimes we forget that our friends are people. I know that sounds crazy. Just listen. What I mean by that is that we forget sometimes that our friends were people before we knew them. That we forget sometimes that once upon a time our friends didn't know us and we didn't know them, that we were strangers, right? Especially if we've been friends for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. It is real easy to forget that your friend was not always your friend. And that over time, that dynamic, that natural respect, or that natural um, care, and that original natural sense of the original negotiation, I guess, the original contract, I guess, can start to erode. That original foundation can start to crack of your friendship. And then it can become easier to start treating your friends. I'm going to try to word this very carefully. It can become easy to start treating your friends very dismissively, where you start taking your friends for granted and you start treating them as if they've always been there and like they're always going to be there. You start forgetting that they are people too, because you've given them the label as my friend, my BFF. That's my homegirl. That's my homeboy. That's my ride or die. That's my whatever, fill in the blank. And they no longer become an individual person anymore. They become something that you now feel like that you own. It's like a sense of ownership. You part of my circle. You my tribe. You part of. Do you see what I'm saying? And that could be detrimental if you're not allowing your friends the space to grow, to express themselves when they need to, and if you are not allowing room to have a healthy friendship, reminding each other that you're people first, you're individuals first, and you just happen to have enough in common to be friends, but you're still individuals first. And you're not entitled to nothing. You're not. Like, your friends are not entitled to your time or to you just because you're their friend. That is a negotiation. And that is an epiphany that I had. So I have to be grateful for the way the dynamic went, for me to have kind of like my meltdown and no one really being available to kind of pull me out of it, because I feel like maybe that was God's way of saying, no, there's a lesson in this. You need to sit with this, and you need to self-soothe, and you need to learn how to be emotionally self-sufficient more often. Because not only is there not always going to be someone around, right, to help pull you out of that abyss, but B, no one is entitled to pull you out of that abyss either. It is no one's responsibility to be your emotional support. It is no one's responsibility. Like, your emotional well-being is no one's responsibility but yours. And that was my own epiphany. It was a hard pill to swallow. I was like, really, God, though, but what's the point of people then? Ain't that the point of, whoa. And, isn't that the point of, the camaraderie and the companionship and this and this and this? And it's like, it's not that people can't be there for you. It's not that you can't have that dynamic. You 100% can have that dynamic, okay? Because I do have friends who are very good at being emotionally supportive. You know what I mean? I know the friends who I can go to for that. You know what I mean? Absolutely. When they're available to do so. You know what I'm saying? And I have a good conversation, and they're good. They're talking me off the ledge, and I feel heard and I feel seen, and it's good. You know what I mean? Everyone has that. Like, most people do. Like, you can have that really good dynamic where you can just call on certain friends for whatever. And some people have all of that wrapped up in just one or two friends, Some people have a multitude of friends. And then again, some people have no actual friends, but they have a lot of acquaintances. You know what I'm saying? And so they don't really have any like tight friends. So they don't even get that close emotionally to anybody. They just have acquaintances. Blessed, that's fine too. But the friendships, you do develop, I think, an emotional connection with your friendships. And if you're going to develop some sort of emotional connection where you laugh together, you cry together, you do whatever, you may disagree and you may fight. If you allow space for that, because there are some friendships, and there's even I have some where you feel like you can't be your full self. You can't express yourself fully because for fear of confrontation, maybe, you know what I mean, um or for fear of misunderstanding, or for fear of, you know, just someone just just going ham on you, or for fear of someone wanting to put distance between you. Like, yes, I have friendships like that. I've had friendships like that. I have friendships, you know, where I have to move differently. I have to operate differently with certain friends because of their personalities, because of how they think and how they operate, and their own personal wounds and traumas and what have you. They respond in very particular ways into very by particular things, and I choose to pick my battles. One person may say, okay, well, how about you just not be friends with that person anymore? That is an option. But I haven't chosen that option yet. I've chosen to keep this person or those people, because it's not just one, it's multiple people, like these people as friends, because there's more to them than just these qualities. You know what I mean? There's more to them than just that. And so if it ever gets to the point where it just gets too overwhelming, then a severance of the relationship, you know, that may be inevitable. In the meantime, I pick my battles. I pick my words. I choose my temperament. Yes, sometimes it's emotionally draining, sometimes it's energetically draining, but that's the choice that I've chosen in order to keep these particular individuals in my life. That's my choice. So no, I can't complain about it. You know what I mean? I can't complain because I'm making the conscious decision to keep them in my life and to keep them as with the label of friend, you know, which no, I don't have to, but I am choosing to do that until further notice. You know what I mean? But what I'm saying is, even with that, they're not entitled to that decision, though. Do you see what I mean? Because they're not doing anything, they're not providing anything to really make me make that decision to keep them like around like that. I'm making that decision, but they're not entitled to that decision. They're not entitled to that much grace. Do you see what I mean? Because they're not entitled to my grace, period. It is a negotiation. I am negotiating how much grace I am giving them to allow them the privilege to still be in my life. If anyone is in your life, they are in your life because it is a privilege to be in your life. As Roxy Talks had told me once, you're the cool kid. Okay? This is your life. This is your reality. So anyone who is in your reality, it is a privilege for them to know you and to be in your world. So that being said, they're not entitled to do anything, and you're not entitled to do anything for them either. And I'm really learning more and more about this whole sense of entitlement thing, because I think it can be, sometimes the lines can be blurred about what you need to automatically be giving and doing versus the entitlement thing. Like, what are you entitled to and what are you not entitled to? And sometimes it's clear, sometimes it's a little blurry, but as of what I understand right now, at least with friendships in this situation, I'm understanding it as your friends are not entitled to really give you anything except respect and honoring your boundaries. That's the only thing you are actually entitled to from your friends, and that's all your friends are entitled to from you. Everything in between that, everything that you share, all of that, I feel, is just negotiation. You're negotiating your relationship. which is why I think friendships change all the time. The dynamic of your friendships change all the time because it's nothing but negotiation. You're just renegotiating your friendships. You're renegotiating the dynamic of your friendships all the time. You're getting closer or you're growing further apart. It's all a negotiation. But the foundation, the part that's non-negotiable, is respect and the honoring of the boundaries. That's why I say that is the part that you're entitled to that. There's no question, there's no arguing with that. Everything else is a negotiation. Everything else is a negotiation. So, what do you feel that you're entitled to by your friends? Do you feel like you are entitled to all of their time? Do you feel that every time they call, you are supposed to answer? Or do you feel that every time you call them, that they better answer when you call? Do you feel entitled to their time every time you want to go out? Do you feel like they better be available every time you want to go out? Do you feel entitled to their time like that? Do you feel entitled? I mean, it happens. It's like that. Some people, it's like if you don't respond to them, if you don't pick up the phone, if they want to go out to the bar, or if they want to go to the game, or if they want to do something, you better be on board because they feel entitled to you. They feel entitled to your time, to your body, to your presence, because they put the label of friend on you. So they feel entitled to you. And the minute you say, no, I don't want to do that, all of a sudden, oh, you're acting funny. I'm acting funny because I don't want to go get no wings with you. Like, do you see what I'm saying? It's like, no, you're not entitled to all of my time. You're not entitled to hijack my time just because we're friends. You're not entitled for me to pick up the phone every time you call because we're friends. You're not entitled to get a response in 2 seconds because we're friends. You're not entitled for me to ride shotgun every time you want to go somewhere because we're friends. And if I say no, ain't no love lost. If we don't talk for 6 months, ain't no love lost. You still my girl. You still my boy. That should not drive a wedge between us. We should still be good, especially if we're grown and we have lives. That should not have any bearing on the love dynamic that we have. But again, that's up for negotiation. Do you see what I mean? Friendships are they're negotiations. So this video is a little bit longer than I wanted it to be, but it's an interesting conversation, right? Again, you don't have to agree with anything that I've said. It's just perspective. It's just a different perspective. Maybe something you didn't think about before. I don't know. Do you have entitlement issues with your friendships? I don't know. I love all my friends and we have a lot of negotiations. You have different negotiations for different friends, but I love them all, and I want nothing for the best for my friends, and I like to believe that they want nothing but the best for me. We're all very, very different personalities, different upbringings, different backgrounds. And I think that's what makes friends and friendships fun is just having everyone so different. But again, none of them are entitled to come and rescue me. No one's entitled to do anything for me. All of that is up for negotiation. It's a negotiation that you make when you decide to put that label of friend on you. You make those negotiations, or you set these expectations, and you negotiate according to your friendships. So, if nothing else, maybe this video made you think. I don't know. But take care. I appreciate you all. Love on your friends. Appreciate your friends. Give them their flowers while you can. Friends are great. Take care of yourselves first. Honor yourselves first. Respect you, respect your friends, honor yourselves, honor your boundaries, honor your friends' boundaries. That is the number one priority. And then everything else can be negotiated. All right. Take care. Be blessed. Love you guys. Bye.